Is Nia Jax frustrated with WWE creative? No, but there are some who aren't keen on WWE's Monopoly attempt, the finish Vince McMahon changed at WrestleMania 39 revealed, and more. I am Luke Owen, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Following his excellent interview with Chris Van Vliet last week, Chris Bay was in attendance for FSW's benefit show. The show was filled with stars from WWE, TNA, and AEW such as Karrion Kross, Swerve Strickland, Ace Austin, Alex Zane, Lio Rush, and Zachary Wentz. Swerve revealed on the show that he was supposed to wrestle, but isn't currently cleared. Bay suffered a horrific injury during a TNA taping last year that left him temporarily paralyzed, and his GoFundMe currently has over $111,000, with major donations coming from some of this great sport's top names like Adam Copeland, Cody Rhodes, Will Ospreay, and Jordan Grace. The outpouring of support for Bay has been wonderful to see, and last night saw one of its most emotional moments as Bay walked to the ring following the match between Karrion Kross and Hammerstone and stepped through the ropes into the ring to thank the fans, and calling out his tag partner Ace Austin to share the moment with him. You can check out the replay for the show on Triller, and we've linked Bay's GoFundMe in the video description down below. He told CVB last week, "Never say never when it comes to a potential in-ring return. You've got this, Chris." Over in the land of WWE now, and the build to WrestleMania has got a lot of fans asking, yeah, but what about this person when it comes to the WrestleMania card? Currently, WrestleMania 41 from Las Vegas has Cody Rhodes vs. John Cena for the WWE Championship, Jey Uso vs. Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk vs. Roman Reigns vs. Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair vs. Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship, and Bianca Belair vs. Io Sky for the Women's World Championship, though it is expected that will become a three-way with Rhea Ripley. With Penta vs. Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental Championship announced for tonight's Raw, it's expected that will end in DQ to build a multi-man match for the title at WrestleMania. And there's speculation we'll have a multi-team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships over on the SmackDown side of things, and there's been reports of pitches for the Women's Tag Team Championships involving a few teams. Look, it is hard to get everyone on the WrestleMania card, even for a show that is across two nights. We've even made a joke about this on 3 Count that some people just have to enjoy nice catering. And looking at that women's tag title situation, Fightful Select have noted in 2 separate reports that there have been pitches for Alexa Bliss and Asuka to be involved in that title match, and perhaps that could be the destination for Nia Jax. But Jax hasn't had a match since her Elimination Chamber tag loss to Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus, and it's led fans online to question why there isn't more creative in place for the former WWE Women's Champion. And responding to someone on Twitter when asked where they were, Jax simply replied, catering. Catering is a bit of a loaded term. The reason why we have it as a joke in 3 Count is it has become a bit of a catch-all term for creative has nothing for you. She was also making jokes about the feud between Charlotte and Stratton, retweeting someone's comment that Flair buried Tiffany in their much criticized sit-down interview segment. This led to some speculation that Jax was frustrated with her lack of WrestleMania direction, or she was being punished for the botched Annihilator in the Chamber build-up. But if you scroll back just one more reply than the catering one, you'll find Jax telling a different fan asking where she is, just living life, baby, family time, and real life Lena time. It's a blessing to be loved, face with hearts emojis, smiling with hearts emojis, I gotta water my home life too. Which I would say pretty much squashes all ideas that she's annoyed or being punished, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. But while this is just likely Nia being Nia on Twitter, there is apparently some frustration elsewhere. On last Friday's WrestleTalk News, I went over the reports that WWE were trying to screw with All Elite Wrestling by running shows against them in either the same state or on TV. AEW's Double or Nothing will run head-to-head with NXT Battleground, and WWE moved a June episode of SmackDown in Texas to just 6 days after AEW's All In Texas. Not only that, but Saturday night's main event will run head-to-head with All In, which will hurt the pay-per-view buy rate, and there's some speculation WWE could do that show from Texas to affect All In's ticket sales. WWE also announced a new European tour with dates that counter-program AEW's Forbidden Door in London. I asked you what you made of this in the comments of last Friday's video, and War Eagle replied, "To anyone who thinks that WWE booking shows around AEW isn't on purpose, I have an oceanfront property in Nebraska to sell you. Of course it's on purpose, it's also strategic." While Jeremy Gott said running a WWE show against an AEW pay-per-view shouldn't hurt AEW. The pay-per-view should crushed the house show, but imagine if the house show actually managed to outsell the pay-per-view. The most upvoted comment went to J-Boy, who said if WWE were to die and wrestling went back to what it was 10 years ago, everyone would learn why having two companies is a must. A few of you also noticed that this felt like while we are in a new era of WWE, they will always be WWE. And WWE would much prefer to have a monopoly on wrestling rather than competition. But maybe not everyone in WWE, because speaking about this on his Fightful Select Q&A, Sean Ross Sapp noted WWE wants a monopoly so bad. They got a lot of wonderful people who work at WWE, and even they eye roll a lot of this stuff. We'll have some more news coming up for you in a bit, but first, here is a clip from the first episode of a 4-week run where Sullivan, Tempest, and I watched through some of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time to find the worst WrestleMania match ever. And we kicked things off with the main event of WrestleMania 32, Triple H versus Roman Reigns.
The people are just sat there.
Yeah.
Well, this is the end of a long show, and now we're gearing ourselves up for a long period of Triple H slowly working over Roman Reigns.
He thinks he's Harley Race. And he's just not. And that's okay.
And it's okay. Not everyone is.
But at some point in the previous 25 years, you should accept that and move on.
Yeah.
This man's hubris is on display here.
I'm not Harley Race, and I'm okay with that.
Sullivan Bo Brown 2025.
Speaking of WrestleMania main events, and there's been a lot of speculation about the finish to WrestleMania 39, where Roman Reigns beat Cody Rhodes to retain the WWE Undisputed Championship. Most people, certainly me, felt that it was a pretty obvious choice for Cody to win the belt. And it, of course, led to the wonderful Pete death stare moment from our live reactions. Miss you, Pete. The reason why there's been so much speculation over the finish is because WrestleMania 39 also saw the return of Vince McMahon to the creative fold after he worked his way back into the company following his 2022 retirement. He also reportedly made a lot of major changes to the Raw after Mania that followed, which is called one of the worst of all time. However, in a new report from Fightful Select, it wasn't Cody versus Roman's finish that was changed. As Sean Ross Sapp writes, while Vince McMahon was in favor of the decision, we're told that it had been the plan pretty well all the way through. Instead, it was the finish to Edge versus Finn Balor inside Hell in a Cell. The match was not only the culmination of Edge versus the Judgment Day feud, but it was also the return of the Demon version of Finn Balor, the first time under the creative watch of Triple H. Despite the awesomeness of Edge coming out to Slayer, it was surprising that he won and didn't put over the younger star. Younger being a relative term, as Finn Balor is a couple of years older than me, and I'm not exactly a spring chicken. According to Sean Ross Sapp, creative and industry sources have claimed that Balor was originally scheduled to win, but McMahon pushed for the change. He adds that Edge was pushing to put over Finn Balor. Now I'm sure that this will raise a few eyebrows in the comments, as the online feedback to Edge, who now wrestles in AEW as Cope, is that he is unwilling to put over people or will do whatever he can to get out of taking a pin. It was pointed out on Twitter recently that since his return in 2020, Cope has only been pinned 8 times. And as expected, when this Fightful Select story came out, SRS was flooded with people claiming that this came from Cope's camp to give him some positive PR online. However, Sean Ross Sapp says that this did not come from Adam Copeland or people close to him. Cope recently lost the chance to win the AEW World Championship in a street fight against Jon Moxley on Dynamite. The match was far better than the heavily criticized Revolution main event, but it became a source of online conversation due to the spot where Mox was suplexed by Cope onto a bat with nails in it, which got stuck in Mox's back. The spot split opinions in the comment section here on the WrestleTalk News and over on the WrestleTalk podcast, and there were questions from fans about how Warner Bros. Discovery reacted to the goriness on their TBS channel. According to Sean Ross Sapp on his Fightful Q&A podcast, there was no heat between AEW and WBD. He noted that AEW and WBD have production meetings every Monday to go over anything that could be seen as controversial, and WBD had no issues with the spot. SRS notes that it went exactly as planned. Now go and watch the episode of Worst Match Ever where Sullivan, Tempest, and I struggle to get through Roman Reigns versus Triple H from WrestleMania 32. It's absolutely dog-ass rubbish.